तुम्हारे पांव के नीचे कोई जमीन नहीं, कमाल है फिर भी तुम्हें यकीन नहीं. PM cited the famous lines of poet Dushant Kumar today to take a swipe at Rahul Gandhi without naming him. Yes. Of course, in the entire speech, a day after, Rahul Gandhi also gave a long speech attacking the Prime Minister, making certain insinuations of his alleged favoritism of the Narendra Modi government to industrialist Gautam Adani. The PM's response today. Hi, this is Aman Sharma. I'm joined by Maria Shakil. And Maria, what do you make of the speech?
So you have quoted one couplet. There were other couplets as well. And this was a speech very combative and full of wit and sarcasm, almost keeping with the tradition of how we have seen of parliamentary speeches in the past. So let me also mention a point that was made by the Prime Minister of Kaka Hatrasi, in which he says, "Aga पीछा देख कर क्यों होते गमगीन, जैसी जिसकी भावना वैसे दिखे सीन." And then there is one more. He has said, ये कह कर हम दिल को बहला रहे हैं, वो अब चल चुके हैं, वो अब आ रहे हैं. Basically a message to Rahul Gandhi and the ecosystem. But overall, Aman, the Prime Minister understood fully well that this was a reply to the motion of thanks of the President of India. So he has kept his speech around it. He understands that he has the trust of people of India because he keeps on talking about the electoral successes, and then he highlights the aspects of the work that he has done.
Yeah.
So while steering clear of the Adani controversy, he has addressed the issues, and he's also trying to bring the opposition on his pitch. His pitch is that of the work that he has done in the last 8.5 years, and he continues to talk about it.
He terms that Suraksha Kavach. So yes, when he said that, whatever allegation you're putting on me, will the people, the 125 crore families today, said 130 crore people of this country, believe in me?
Yes.
Then that bharosa I have not earned through newspaper headlines or
yes,
TV headlines. I have earned it through my work. And the point, I think, interestingly, when he cited his schemes, that 80 crore people who got free rations, 3 crore people who are getting free homes, the 9 crore people who got free drinking water connections. Will these people believe your allegations?
Yes.
They will not be able to. He said, you have to pierce the Suraksha coverage of these people, the bharosa they have on me,
yes,
to make people believe these allegations. And that is, I think, the very important point that he said that whatever you may say, it is unsubstantiated. He even said कि ये आरोप झूठे और अनर्गल हैं, कुछ भी अनाप शनाप बोला जा रहा है, but the people won't believe them. And I think, Maria, there is a history in this. Even if you see the 2019 election when Rahul Gandhi raised the Rafale scam, for example,
and boomerang.
And it boomeranged. People didn't simply buy that rhetoric that Mr. Modi, Rahul Gandhi basically said Mr. Modi is corrupt and has indulged in favoritism and got Rafale. People simply rejected that argument. I think he's trying to do the same trick, same kind of game again, saying that industrialists is being favored by Mr. Modi. It seems the same pitch, but I think Modi is clearly saying the electorate is not going to believe it.
He also, Aman, talked about the women in particular.
Yeah.
The fact that he becomes the first Prime Minister who talked about sanitary pads from the ramparts of the Red Fort was unique.
Yeah.
And he understands that this constituency has voted for him in election after election, the Lok Sabha polls, and also in the state elections. I think the fact that he spoke about toilets and sanitary pads, the fact that he talked about health and hygiene aspects of women, the smokeless kitchens and the dwindling lines for kerosene and pani, 9 crore SHGs, and also the middle class. He understood that this particular budget has announced a lot of benefits for the middle class, particularly the tax incentives that they have got. That would mean that the middle class and the women are standing with him.
And when he's citing his achievements, he also made this, I think, very sharp point about the scams of the Congress rules. To reiterate that people have not forgotten them. I think the line that he used, that her opportunity को आपने एक परेशानी में बदल दिया. So if there was a CWG event happening in Delhi, which was the country's pride, you turned it to an embarrassment of a scam. If there was a telecom revolution happening, you converted it into a 2G scam. So I think those points also, I think the PM is trying to make the people remember that the people who are today lodging false, as he says, false allegations against me, what is their past and what is their history and why they were actually voted out of power in 2014.
And I would say that there was a clear distinction with which the Prime Minister begins his speech. He says that over the last 1.5 days that there has been discussion on the motion of thanks. It is almost clear that almost all political parties agree with what the President had said, and they do not want any amendments to the speech. So he congratulated all of them, because what we had heard from the opposition in the last 1.5 days was about the entire Adani controversy. So the Prime Minister says that one thing is clear, that they are asserting and endorsing that speech. They are talking about other issues. So I would say that this was his style of bringing the opposition on his pitch, because he realizes that this is a pitch of his strength. But the question then is, Aman, will the parliament function? Because the opposition is demanding JPC. They are asking for a Supreme Court monitored probe. Will that really happen?
Well, I think the tables have turned, hasn't it, Maria? In 2000
Yes.
before 2014, we had the BJP demanding a JPC in the
Yes.
2G scam, and a JPC did happen. But if we now speak to the BJP leaders, I'm sure you have got the same feedback, that a JPC into such an issue where there's a private corporate involved, where the exposure of the the public firms LIC and SBI less than 1%, a JPC is not made out. This is not an issue concerning the public or the government or public policy at large. So that is why I think the government is steadfast that there will be no JPC in this. SEBI and RBI will do their job into the whole matter, but there will be no JPC. I think that is very clear from the government.
And also, interestingly, in the last few hours that we have heard the discussion take place in Parliament, the response that has come from the government is largely the MPs who are responding. You haven't seen a response from the finance minister on the Adani issue.
Yeah.
So that's a very tactical strategy of the government. They are not getting into it. Although the finance minister in the Rajya Sabha today said that there was a lot of insinuations against the prime minister, which are completely baseless and which is not backed by facts. I think what the government is doing here is they're realizing that perhaps a Nishikant Dubey or other MPs can respond to Rahul Gandhi and his speech of roughly around 35 to 40 minutes, in which he made it only about the equation or the alleged equation between the prime minister and Mr. Adani. He has not really dealt on the issue of the vote of thanks, because this was a discussion on the vote of thanks. Now what will happen on the budget?
I think Rahul has made it very clear in his speech. If 14 was about Rafale, 19 was about Rafale,
yes.
24 is about Adani. I think Rahul Gandhi has found his pole pitch. The only thing now is will people buy into it, and I think the PM made a very sharp point about enforcement directorate. कि जो वोटर नहीं मिला पाए opposition को एक stage पे, वो ED ने मिला दिया है. So I think that's also a very sharp point, that you attack the agencies when they come after you on corruption, and now you are attacking me with
and Harvard study.
Harvard study.
And yes. So elaborate on that.
Yeah, the Harvard study, I think when he said that, people thought that Harvard will study into how India's failure in COVID will be, but now it has done a study on how the fall of the Congress will be.
Taking from what Rahul Gandhi said, that perhaps there should be a Harvard study or study by other top business institutions in the world of how the Adani company has made its wealth, how it has grown phenomenally in the last 8-9 years. So the Prime Minister's response was that there is someone who keeps on talking about Harvard study, that there has to be a study on the rise and the fall of the Congress party.
Absolutely. I think 2 days are action-packed in Parliament. I think we saw Rahul Gandhi yesterday, we saw the Prime Minister today. The pitch, I think the poll pitch for 2024 is set, and who bats better on it we'll see in the days to come. But clearly, I think Mr. Modi giving a very, very strong response to Rahul Gandhi in Parliament today. Thank you so much for joining us today.